What is going on, guys? It's your boy here again, Dean, and we finally have the Mysterian trial deck and the Draconic Duelist trial deck profiles. We're going to go over the cards, and of course there's going to be the deck list in the description if you just want that. And let's just get right into it. So, something unique about these is these were basically, imagine like a Magic Precon in Japan, and instead they were put in our boosters, which is why the prices of most cards from these are very high. And it's why the decks are actually going to be pretty simple, I think. They're very constrained in what they do, so they're very tribal in nature, like a Natura deck. There's not a lot of wiggle room for them. In fact, with this deck, as you see, we're actually playing 39 Mysterias and then one Angelic Barrage. Angelic Barrage is, of course, going to be our tech card for the bat matchup. Hopefully, just a well-timed Barrage will be able to seal the game, maybe prevent a Old Blood King from clearing our board, and then we can just take it from there. But first up, let's get into the new guys. Let's get into Mr. Bertrand. Yeah, this guy, whatever. Magic Mentor. On play, we either get a Mysterian Missile, which is going to be a token we're going to be seeing a lot of. It deals 3 damage. Sorry, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to enemy follower. But if we have 10 academic cards in our cemetery, we get to deal 2 damage to the leader as well. This is going to be a thing that you're going to be seeing on a lot of cards, is we really care about how many academic cards have hit our grave, and that's kind of why we have to play like the entire package of 39 academics. We don't want to be playing non-academics, because then we're not fueling our necro charge. Alternatively, we can select an academic spell in our grave, and if there are at least 5 academic cards in our grave, we get to add it to our hand. This is going to be recursion for our very powerful spells, which we do have a few of. Okay, of course, we got the Barrage, and then we have Grey as Ember. This is our snipe, but if we have 5 academic cards in our cemetery, we could deal 3 damage. Not as good as Dragon's Blazing Breath, but 3 is better than 2. So, of course, we're going to be playing it, and we're going to see later on that this card actually can scale up to be the 4 if we have the right board. Next up is Mysterian Knowledge. This is 1 mana, and in order to play this, we have to reveal 2 other academic cards from our hand. Once again, we have to play all academics to fuel this, because what's worse than a card you can't play? Well, this is an insight, but we also get the Mysterian Missile, so it's kind of like a draw 2. Once again, Mysterian Missile, we're going to be able to push face damage with or removal. A lot of removal in this deck, a lot of incremental face damage. Very powerful. Craig, this guy's been around forever. He gives us the ability to draw, drop, and of course, on Evolve, draw drops again, just 1 copy of the Evolve. He's just in there to help fuel our early Necro charge. Good card. Lou. We have 3 of her, I guess. It's easy to discard her. You can probably cut this down if you really want to. This would be where you could make a little bit of tech room, is maybe removing a Lou or 2. On play, we're going to be able to search for a spell that costs 1 play point, reveal it, add to our hand. Lou's going to be able to, of course, search the Mysterian Knowledge, the Barrage, or the Grey as Ember. That's pretty good. She's got a lot of good targets. Good card. Next up is the Mysterian Wormist. This guy's really good. 2 mana, 2/2. On play, you have to discard an academic spell to draw, or he kills himself. It's just kind of unfortunate. But that's why, once again, we're playing all academics, so not really a problem unless you're completely in top deck mode, which you should never be with this deck. And then on Evolve, we have 2 different options to evolve him, and it costs 2, so this is going to be a turn 3 or 4 play. We either turn into the Mysterian White Worm, which heals us for 3 and has Ward, or we're going to turn to the Mysterian Black Worm, which is the much better one. It has a Sail, and it pushes 3 face damage. Sail's huge. 5/5 is huge. We're going to be able to kill the Old Blood Kings. We're going to be able to kill pretty much every standing threat in the meta, while also pushing face damage. Very powerful card. Don't be sleeping on this guy. This card's a house. Another new card is Owen, Knight of Mysteria. 2 mana, 3/2 rush. If we have 5 academic cards in our grave, he actually gets +1/+1 in a Sail. 4 is pretty good. It can kill, like, Seiryotennan or Faust that didn't buff himself. He's got some options. He's got some removal. And on strike, we get a Mysterian Missile, which, once again, more removal. That's a pretty overtuned 2-drop. Feels pretty good. Both being able to trade into a body and then give us additional removal that might also be able to push face damage afterwards. house of a card. A lot of the cards in the Mysterian set are very good. Next up is Tico, the Mysterian Spell Nerd. 2 mana, 2/3 ward. On death, we get to look at the top card of our deck. If it's an academic card, you may reveal it and add to your hand. Once again, that's why we're playing almost all academics. You don't want to be whiffing on this. Like, why would you play a non-UMA card in your like with your special weeks, right? So, in order to ensure that we hit with this card, we're going to be playing all Mysterians. And Ward randomly messes up some decks. It's a little bit less good right now with bats, but we have a lot of other options for bats. So hopefully we can, live with the Ward against maybe other decks that are a little bit less good. It's also not as good into, what is it? Dirt Rune, because like when they bring back the Riley, they get to push the face damage anyway, or they just go over it. So maybe it's not the best into those, but against some things like Sword, Ward's still good. Next up is Greya, the Mysterian Dragon. Is 3 mana, 3/3. On play, we get to select an enemy follower in the field. If we have at least 10 academic cards in our grave, we get to deal 4 damage to it and 1 damage to its leader. Once again, that's why we're building the grave. And on Evolve, we get search our deck for a Greya's Ember, which is our snipe that can also do up to 3, and put it into your EX area. And this turn, it costs 1 less, so it goes from 1 to 0. And while this card's on our board, an academic spell would deal damage. It deals that much plus 1 instead, which means that Greya means that not only does our snipe deal 4, but here's what's crazy. That Mysterian Missile that pushes 3 plus 2 is now pushing 4 plus 3. 3 face damage for 2 mana as long as you have the Greya out. Means that they pretty much have to kill this immediately. Very powerful card. I'm going to keep saying that. I think that all of these cards are good, right? We have a deck of like 40 good cards in this. Next up is Mysteria, the Magic Founder. 3 mana, 2/4. This is an older card that honestly never had a home until now, because all we had were some pretty bad academics like Craig, and we had the old Anne and Greya, but now we have the new cards. She found a home. So on play, we get to show our opponent an academic from our hand, and then we get to deal 2 damage somewhere, so we get a snipe on play. And while it's on our board, any academic follower you play costs 1 less. This thing living means that I think your opponent just instantly loses the game. We also have the ability to Evo this thing for 1. So we're going to be playing 2 of the Evo. We get to select an enemy follower in the field and deal it 3 damage. And while it's on our board, once again, still have the cost reduction. So we get to go ping 2, ping 3. A little bit like, almost like a Curse Crafter, and for only 4 mana total. And then, if it lives on curve, right, we get to start playing all of these good cards. This card with Ward that just lets us draw, it costs 1. This guy that puts the Magic Missile, he costs 1, right? All of these cards, like you look at Lou, you're 2 mana for this effect, not very good. 1 mana, suddenly very good, right? Oh, this guy, the guy that gives us the Mysterian Missile on play, you just slam him down. You can just start slamming down cards, build a big board with her, or maybe even curve out into an Anne early, or like one of our top end pieces. Very powerful effect that if your opponent doesn't deal with it, you probably win the game on the spot. Next up is Veil, the Mysterian Summoner. 4 mana, 2/2. Pretty shit stat line. But we're playing it for the Evolve, which is look at top 5 and select 2 academic cards that cost 2 or less from among them into our EX area. They cost 2 less to play this turn. So it's like our Baleon, but it's supposed to build a big wide board for free. And most of our deck is 2 mana or less. Like look at that. Look at that curve. 15 2-drops, 10 1-drops. I mean, some of them are spells, right? 9 of these are spells, or 7 of them are spells. So we have 18 hits in the deck. Pretty good chance you're going to be able to see the 2 off of this. If you don't, that's pretty unfortunate, but hopefully you don't. And then you're able to build the wide board and hopefully win from there. And then this next card is the Anne Sorcery. 5 mana. We get 2 different modes on this. We either get to hit the enemy leader for 4 damage and draw a card, or we can play this for 8, and then we get to hit the enemy leader for, what is it? Oh my god, this thing's worded quite weirdly. If we play it for 8, and if we have 10 academic cards in our grave, we get to deal 8 damage instead of 4 and draw 2 cards. Which with the Greya would be 9 damage. We draw 2. Why is this important? Because we have this, and the new boss monster, of course, makes the entire thing come together. Other than the fact that like you're a pretty good tempo deck without this. 6 mana, 5/5. We get to choose one of the following, but if we have 10 academic cards in our grave, which we should, we actually get to do both of these effects. We either get to search our deck for an and sorcery, put into our EX area, and shuffle, and the next and sorcery we play costs 5 less. See? It's gone from being a 5 mana card to being a 0 mana card. And search our deck for a Greya Mysterian Dragoness, summon it, and then shuffle our deck. So the Greya was the one that lets us push extra face damage after it evolves. And gets to like clear something on the board and push a face damage. So we play this thing down on turn, was it 6? Is that turn 10? Turn 10 like in digital? Yeah, 6, 9, 10. 9 or 10. We play this thing down. It's pretty late, isn't it? We play this thing down. We search the Greya. We search this. We Evo the Greya. We push 1 face damage with the Greya. We Evo the Greya. All of our cards deal 1 extra damage. And then we pay 3 extra after casting this. And we manage to push 9 damage thanks to the Greya, giving us an extra damage. And that's a total of 10 damage. We draw the cards, and we probably, hopefully, win the game. So that's the goal with this deck. You don't have to do the crazy and thing. That's just like a big burst option you have against the slower control decks. Against a normal deck, you're going to be chipping them down slowly with the Mysterian missiles you get, or with this guy who's kind of insane. And you're going to be trying to control the board, putting out a wide board. Your opponent goes for a Blood King turn. They try to clear your board with the bats. You Angelic Barrage them. You got like 3 dudes. They only got the 1 guy. You win the game. That's the goal with the deck. Pretty cool. It's probably, I don't know if it's the better of the two, but it's definitely the more popular. Anyway, let's get into the next one, the Dragon deck. I'm not sure if this is the best Draconic Duelist deck. This is just my starting point. We're going to be playing a lot of Draconic Duelist cards because, once again, we're kind of forced into Tribal with the way that everything works. And I think I'm going to start off. We don't have the card. Let me get the card for you guys. There is a... I'm not editing this out either. There's an important card that we're going to need to know about that is a token, Yu-Gi-Oh token. So first up, this is the boss monster. I'm going to start off with this one because unlike Mysteria, everything revolves around this. We have Remelia the Lightning Striker, 3 mana, 1/3. Bane and Last Words. If there's an Aftershock on your field, place a lightning counter on each Aftershock. If you don't have an Aftershock, you summon one. Okay? And then it evolves for 1. And on evolve, it gains Assail and Bane. Well, it already had Bane, so it gains Assail. So we're going to be able to kill any standing follower. There's a lot of big threats that will remain untapped in this format. We're going to be able to deal with them. And if there's a... On evolve, if we have an amulet on our board, we get to deal 3 damage to an enemy follower. So we're going to be able to get a little bit of removal as well. It's also getting the Assail Bane, so hopefully be able 2 for 1 on top of getting the Aftershock counters. Okay, here's TCG player. Here's the card, Aftershock. 3 mana amulet token on our board that whenever a Draconic Duelist follower is put onto our board, it gets a little counter. And we can tap it to buff a card on our board to attack, but only if we have at least 5 counters. And we can tap it to destroy an enemy follower and burn 3 to the enemy leader. So we're going to be trying to go wide continuously with a bunch of cards that summon multiple bodies, or search our deck for cards. Get counters on this card, tap this card, get some burn damage while going wide to hopefully finish the game. That's the goal of the deck. That in mind, that is why we are playing a lot of Draconic Duelists, some of which I don't think by themselves are the greatest bodies, but it's all part of the bigger game plan. Okay, except for this card. This card is really good. Hypersonic Dragonute, 1 mana, 2/1, so it's a goblin. If we have another Draconic Duelist card on our board, it has Rush and Assail. Get this, pay 1 mana on play. If we're in overflow, search our deck for a Hypersonic Dragonute, summon it, and then shuffle your deck. Basically, if you get this at any point after you hit 7 mana, this is like a free 3 cards on the board, and deck thins you quite a bit. It just puts up a bunch of guys. It forces your opponent to... it loses to Barrage, which everyone's playing, right? We just went over the Mysteria deck. But it is like deck thin a bunch, just summon a bunch of guys. Seems pretty powerful. No reason to really not be playing. Honestly, after looking at this deck, maybe put PDK in here, but it's too late for that. Just an option. We're teching in 3 Blazing Breaths. My thought with this is it stops us from dying to Riley, which is going to be a huge meta threat that's going to be coming out continuously. Once we hit Overflow, this deals 4. Riley has 4 health. That's really what it comes down to. It's being able to stop a Riley or 2 from hitting us in the face might be enough to win us the game. 2 Dragon's Nest. I like this card because if you have a amulet on board before your first Remelia, you're able to get additional damage. I wonder if you want 3 of this. Someone's played 3. Someone's played 0. I went with 2. Is that right? Is that wrong? Who really knows? This is really... These are the 2 things that I think if you're going to start cutting stuff, you're going to be looking at those. 2, this Dragonclad Blade Master... 2 mana, 3/2, but we can tap him, select enemy follower in the field, deal 3 damage, but we can only do that if we have 3 Draconic Duelist cards on our field, so we already need to be going wide for us to get this effect, or have the Aftershock plus another guy. In my mind, this is a Poseidon card. We want to be playing this down after we Poseidon, or with the Poseidon, and until then, we really don't want to see him, so I only put 2 of them in. Well, this card is always good. The Dragoon Scyther, 2 mana, 2/2. It has Bane, and if there's another Draconic Duelist card on our field, it has Storm. Once again, a lot of these cards say cards, not followers, which means the Aftershock always enables them. So we're always going to be able to, like, put this thing down, smack 2. Put this thing down, smack 2. Seems pretty good. Good hit off of our Poseidon. And then this guy, I'm not even going to say this guy, Kojuro. 2 mana, 2/2. We get to select another Draconic Duelist follower on our field, and if we're in Overflow, give it +1/+1. Seems pretty good. It makes the Dragoon Scyther, swing for 3. Just anything to get a little bit of incremental damage. And here's what's really good about him. On Evolve, we get to look at 4 and add a Draconic Duelist follower to our hand, and the rest go to the bottom. So we're going to be able to find the cards that we need. A little bit of consistency, keeping our hand up. Not a lot of cards in the deck evolve. Definitely a good card. Masamune, the Raging Dragon, 2 mana, 2/2 Bane. And if we have 3 Draconic Duelist cards on our field, 2 followers, give this follower +2/+2 in Storm, so we're going to be able to get in for 4 damage, or with, maybe we tap the card, give it up to 6. Maybe we get to play this thing down. They somehow dealt with our amulet. You can play this thing down, pay 1, then play the Masamune. Get the big damage with this guy throughout the game. It's a lot of damage for pretty cheap. Triple Dragon Oracle. Do we need to cut this eventually? Who knows? Maybe. But we have a searcher for it, so it's pretty good, and we're going to be able to get into Overflow earlier because of it. Nothing really to go with that. We have 2 different spells that are meant to clear the board that cost 2 from Dragon. Of course, we got the AoE, but this card against something like Bats is generally less good than it is into Dirt. Like, Dirt might put up a board in the late game that you really need the 7. Like, they can put up a bunch of guys, and you really want this, like, AoE for 7. It's not as good into Bats, because Bats is usually going to be putting down just, like, a bunch of low-health guys the entire game. And so this thing is not that good, because it would cost 7 mana to blow up. It's a 2 mana spell, AoE the board for 7, but it costs 1 more for every other follower on the board. So if Bats puts out 5 guys, this costs 7 to clear the board. Not that good then. Into Dirt, you're willing to tap out, like spend a lot of mana, because if they like full send like an Ancient Alchemist turn, yeah, you want that gone. You want that entire board gone. With this though, into Bats, we're only playing 1, and we're also playing 1 of the Total Domination, which always gets to AoE the board for 2. We get to hurt one of our guys to do it, but it doesn't matter because the Bat board usually only has like 1 to 2 health. Clear it up. Of course, the boss monster, we already went over that. Roy the Dragon Cleaver, fantastic card for Dragon. He was in the other deck as well. He just on play gets to search for a 2-cost Dragoncraft spell. Wow, that grabs our removal options. It also grabs Oracle. And it can grab Blazing Breath if that's what we need as well. Very versatile card with the little bit of the suite of removal that we put in our deck. Oh, only grabs 2 costs, so it doesn't grab the Blazing Breath. I'm sorry. But on Evolve, he pings something for 2. If they're playing the mirror match or something, he can deal 5. That's not real. It's mostly just a ping 2. And then he gets to swing in and he searches your Oracle. Helps you get to overflow a little bit earlier. Pretty good card. Also Draconic Duelist. I put 2 Fortes in. This card is probably also cuttable. I just really didn't have enough cards for an Evo deck. And I thought Forte is probably fine. You could probably cut her to 1 or 0 or do pretty much whatever you want with her. This could be more removal. We're going to be getting a lot of, burst damage with the Masamune, with the Dragoon Scythers, maybe even with the Aftershock. Do you really need Forte? I'm not sure. But she's in the deck. We're playing a 2-2 line just because we had the Evo deck space. Gargoyle. We're playing 2 Gargoyle, Rush Ward, and if we have at least 3 Draconic Duelist cards on our field, we draw 2. Seems good. Regain hand. Doesn't really do anything until we have 3 Draconic Duelist cards on our board, so maybe we want to play 3 of this one Forte. Who really knows? When I read this effect, I want like 2 of this thing because it's usually going to be summoned off of another card, and it's usually good that way. Like this guy who's actually insane, the Pure Voice Dragoon, 5 mana, 3/4. We get to search our deck for a Draconic Duelist follower that costs 4 or less. Summon it, shuffle. For an overflow, we also heal 3 as well. So this is going to be deck thin 1, draw 2. This is like draw 3, basically, if you really think about it. And we get a bunch of stats on the board, right? That's 7, 9 worth of stats for only 5 mana. We get to heal, we get to draw, we get the ward. That's pretty damn good. And, of course, the big boy himself, Poseidon. 8 mana, 4/7 ward, and on play we get 2 Draconic Duelist followers with different names that cost 2 or less. Summon them, and then shuffle our deck. Obviously, we're going to be going Masamune plus Dragoon Scyther, that's 6. Or maybe we need to dodge a Blazing Breath from our opponent or something that might deal 4 damage. Wow, we can go Masamune plus Katakura, this guy, and then pump the Masamune up to 5/5. A little bit safer than just going 4/2. You get to go 5/5 and 1. A bunch of different things you can do with this. Very powerful card. Builds the big board. He's in the deck. Yeah, are these decks good? I'm really excited to actually see how many people bring them to Worlds, and I'm really excited to see what is the actual best build for the Draconic Duelist. Am I in the right ballpark? Who knows? Leave a comment, let me know. And if it ends up working out for you, this build, and you take it to locals, you start winning, let me know that too. And until next time, this is your boy Dean, signing out.